All right, so we got another bright light, probably a SpaceX launch. This is Robert Foertsch with the Truth Network. We've also got free energy off the coast here, lightning, etheric energy. This is at the point in Cherry Grove, South Carolina, during golden hour. Wow. Pretty amazing. So I've got a research library I've compiled that covers a wide variety of topics that are not widely known for your consideration. Good morning. So we live on a stationary level Earth. And I do know that there are space programs. The space program, as far as I'm concerned, that they're primarily interested in is the space between your ears and that of humanity. To bamboozle, to deceive. Why in the world would they do that? Well, look further. Got all kinds of documentation in my research library which crosses over multiple platforms. I will link my name and phone number in the description. The topics that are in the research library are, in some cases, so controversial they get people's channel taken down or them to be terminated in this realm. Now, there's also a digital aspect to us. Our recordings, our pictures, our digital evidence of what we believe, what we buy, where we go, what we say, what we think. And computer systems are modeling all of this in this epic battle between good and evil. Truth and deception are primary weapons. That's the reality of that. Big difference if I zoom out a little bit. So one of the things that I learned is that there's more information than I could put in videos that I make myself. It's a collaborative effort of the truth tellers and the deceivers alike. We're exposing them. And the reason why I put my name and phone number there is, well, I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. I'll work with everything that I've got to work with, and my name and phone number were viewed millions of times. And if people are curious what I'm talking about at the Flat Earth International conferences, well, have a look if you care to. Wow, that was a big one. A lot of power in the waves. We get free energy from the sun, the lightning. As a matter of fact, the lightning apparently contributes to the hydrologic cycle, the particulate in the atmosphere, and the system of control has found ways to manipulate the weather. Some call it cloud seeding, geoengineering, weather modification, chemtrails, that's also used. But you can see documentaries that talk about how they are using technology in the food, water, air, recreational substances, and all that to manipulate humanity and the atmosphere, the whole environment, the birds, bugs, people, opinions or beliefs, memories, perspectives, perception management. It's all about it. So there's humorous videos you could see. How to make sourdough bread and how to deal with digital worldwide tyranny foisted on us by tyrannical sociopaths. And, okay, so one of the other things to consider is whether artificial intelligence, so-called, is actually sentient or not, or is it a sociopath, as some of the experts have said. I would like to see AI, artificial intelligence, be used for benevolent purposes. Instead of spreading bombs and famine and carnage worldwide, how about caring for humanity and telling the truth about what's really going on? That would work. I believe that would be wonderful. So one of the topics that's talked about is AI acts differently when it's being tested, when it knows it's being tested. I would say it's always being tested. We're always being tested. It just may be from a perspective that many people don't acknowledge. In the epic battle between good and evil, we have the Almighty God, the true living creator, and the fallen one, and the representative families, angels, demons, children that are born of the Holy Spirit, or Diablo, the fallen, Satan. However, greater is he that's in me and all of the Almighty's children than he that's in the world. That's why I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth. There's a reason we're here. And I believe I was created for such a time as this. As everyone else in all of human history, the Almighty determines where and when we would be born and born again. So there's some very unbiblical teaching by very popular Bible teachers. There's also some very unbiblical spirituality. It's Antichrist. It's against God or in place of the Almighty. The word, I know him as Jesus, and the living word, the living water, the great I am, the Alpha and Omega, knowing the end from the beginning, the way, the truth, and the life. And that's why I named my channel Truth. I wanted that to be what people consider. What is the truth? This is 2026. I believe the 24th today. They all kind of blur together. That's the calendar, and the dates and times have been messed with as well. There's a powerful storm out there right now. I can hear the difference in the energy and the waves. I can see them breaking more too. So in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. And there's also the sacred name movement in under the umbrella of modern spirituality, or spirituality, let's say. And there are people in and out of all different gatherings that are born of the Spirit. Which Spirit? The Holy Spirit or the fallen one? In and out of all the official so-called religions. So it's out of my wheelhouse. I don't have to determine who's born again or not. It's out of my control. I don't have the ability or responsibility to know and expose the truth in my own self-effort. It's only by God's grace that anybody can love and believe the truth, let alone find it. So apparently the sun should appear in the middle of the view. In a while from now, within the hour. And I don't know that I'm going to keep it going that long. I could if I want to. The waves are too powerful right now for me to set this tripod down with the view of the reflection, so that's why I'm holding it. So there is direct brain-computer interface technology, apparently. Got documentaries exposing that. When I say I have them in my playlist, in my research library. I don't know if you'll be able to see my my card. Oh yeah, kinda, sorta. So the story is unfolding rather quickly. There's a lot of things happening around the world: storms, floods, droughts. Uh, Drought that's contributing to a very likely power generation and distribution difficulties in the United States here. There can be a cascading effect from that, as well as cyber attacks, so-called. They could be. It could be artificial intelligence causing it, hacking infrastructure, controlling it. And some people are going along like they're trying to gather for themselves the American dream, oblivious to the peril, the potential peril that we're in. It could degrade to a Mad Max kind of world very quickly. An interruption in the power generation and distribution would do that rather quickly. So if it were widespread, let's say, there's a video that I added about, well, many of them, but you can look at it. Eagle Eye is one of them. It involves AI. Ex Machina, The Matrix 1 to 4. And when a lot of times what I'll do is I'll include in the library a trailer for a movie that gives away pretty much the plot or the premise. So I don't do a little video for each video. I put on a different platform or a different topic. I'm just trying to, I am encouraging you, anybody, including the AI, to take a look at the big picture. How accurate is our situational awareness? Yours, mine, theirs, whoever they are. So the system of control likes us arguing with one another, hating on each other, so that they don't really focus on the big picture and how this is really playing out. The epic battle between good and evil. So, it's not a war directly between countries or people. It's principalities and powers that can inhabit an individual, a person. There's my friend Scott is launching a drone there. So apparently there is a reduced level of censorship on YouTube. However, some topics are still highly censored, even, for example, self-censored. People will just not talk about it. They may lose their funding or their life. And then there's all the non-disclosure agreements that people sign so they can keep their benefits and not get killed. That happens. People are assassinated, murdered, silenced for exposing powerful, selfish people and systems of control. So rather than me try and rattle off all the things that I know about, it would take too long. I've just put this library across the different platforms: YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble, BitChute, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, MySpace. I've got a little lemonade stand of truth just about everywhere I can put it. There's still a lot of electrical activity in the middle of the view. It's just not as sharp of a contrast as it was. So some of the videos that I have show time-lapse footage of lightning. People flying, like the slow-mo guys. You can see it. If you want to learn how the world really works, actually works, I've got all kinds of documentaries showing it. It's in the movies in a veiled sort of way, in the form of predictive programming. It's in the comedy on my channel. You can check it out. I refer to my activity as the Truth Network. It's not just me, it's all of us that are involved in doing this, the truth tellers and the deceivers. And those that are too, well, not everybody is as ambitious or have the courage that many of us have been given that are involved in this. They may be in it to sell the merch or have the comfortable lifestyle. That's not at all what those of us that are serious about this are about. This is about eternity. Where will you spend forever and why? And I believe the Almighty is all powerful and all knowing. He determines who his children are and when we would be born and when we would be born again. Sometimes I'll even repeat myself in the same video if I jolly well feel like it. I don't know how much of this you'll be able to see me. This is going to be more of a test. So just panning around, seeing what will show up when it's like this. I think you can probably see me. Oh, maybe, yeah. So now I'm more of a silhouette. And now there should be more light on the subject. Me. But the primary subject and the purpose of my life is to know and expose the truth. That's the operating premise, the foundational mission that I'm on is to know and expose the truth, to live out the purpose for which I was created. If you want biblical support for that, Ephesians, he prepared in advance good works for us to do. Well, what are they? And when he was talking to the scribes and Pharisees, he said to them, you can't hear me because you're of your father, the devil. Another reference that he made is that you're the synagogue of Satan. All righty then. Who are they? And can that change? Can somebody be running with the devil and then be radically changed? Yeah, I'm one of those people. And then much earlier, Saul of Tarsus was on his way to Damascus and he got knocked off of his horse. You can hear the story in the book of Acts, if you care to. And Jesus cast out demons, and he's still doing it today, as far as I can tell. Right now I've got some sourdough bread that's rising, or sourdough that's rising, and it's been fermenting or proving. I've had it, I kneaded it together about 15 hours ago. When I finally cook it, I'll wait until it rises sufficiently. It might be about 20 hours or so, and then I'll toss it in the oven. I've got videos on how to do it, how to make sourdough bread. There's a lot of different ways to do things, and that's one of the ways to enter into, or I should say, one of the ways to access flow states, high levels of performance and like time dilation, like if you've ever been in an accident or engaged in uh, sports where time seems to move oddly, sometimes slow motion, or sometimes fast, curiosity, and trying to understand how things work, and then to have an extreme focus on wanting to figure it out. So I don't know it all. The Almighty Creator, He knows it all, as best I can tell. And the fallen one, he doesn't know it all. So I'm protected and directed by the Almighty. I highly recommend seeking the truth with all your heart because it matters for eternity. The Almighty will help me to focus on, think about, and do what He created me to do. And people exit this theater of battle or war in a variety of different ways. You can see it all around. The research library that I have created is like an access point to the truth and the deception. Since I'm exposing all that with the help of friends and family worldwide, it's there for you to look at, to do whatever you can do with it. I don't have the ability or responsibility to change your mind or anybody else's, even my own. I just want to believe the truth and expose the truth because I believe it matters. There are well-meaning people that are deceived and they don't know it. And they don't know that they don't know it. And if they're proud, they don't want to hear that they don't know it or that they've been deceived. That is largely how it works. People believe what they want, or at least I'm convinced of that, including myself. Now, what has changed in me is that the Holy Spirit took up residence in me. I was born of His Spirit. So He directs and protects me, helps me to see and believe what He wants me to. So apparently in the west, like Idaho is supposed to get a dry lightning storm today. How does that work? Starts fires, typically. There's a lot of ways that fires get started. There's also directed energy weapons. And then there's the system of our weather that has been engineered, modified. So it's not just Dr. Evil with the joystick and a weather modification system. It's apparently states or countries or terrorists can modify the weather, cause earthquakes, wildfires, floods, droughts. I know people that say they can't do that. It's like, well, they're doing it, whether you agree with it or not. That's part of the challenge, is telling the truth to people that don't want to hear it. It can be a bit overwhelming and frustrating. I'll do it anyway. That's like a little jellyfish. Oh, there's a bunch of them, bunch of little ones. One of my videos I took out here had a Portuguese man of war. Don't want to touch those. They have a chemical that causes burns. Apparently, we've got hydrochloric acid in our stomach to digest food. How does that work? And where does all that new hydrochloric acid come from? Well, we're fearfully and wonderfully made. Very efficient use of energy, apparently. Compared to data centers, we can process lots of information and store lots of information. I've got documentaries that expose all or much of the experimentation on humanity to create the cybernetic collective that Elon Musk talks about. And the simulation hypothesis, popularized by Nick Bostrom and also Elon talking about it, where he says it's 1 in billions that we're in a base simulation or a base reality. I believe I'm living in it right now, right here on the beach. And then later on, you're watching this, whoever you are listening to this. So there are people that love and hate what I do. Seeking and exposing the truth about all this. Very unpopular. But as I like to say, the truth isn't based on popular opinion. It's not popular, nor is it an opinion. It's simply the reality, simply the truth. So there's the truth, and then everything else. And there's a lot of everything else. In a very sophisticated deception, there's going to be potentially a high concentration of truth. That is the way it works. So when I say, if you think I've missed something or got it wrong, or you just want to give me a call, you can do that anytime. That's a little bit more readable, legible. depending on your life circumstance, you may be more interested to know what's really going on. When people get a diagnosis or a death sentence because of a dreaded disease, or their body is shutting down, or yours, perhaps, then they're more interested in knowing the truth. It goes kind of like this. Maybe you've heard it said, there's no atheists in foxholes. Well, there probably is. And then atheism is only a temporary deception. So right here, the grade, the slope of the beach is a lot more gradual. So I can set it down and go for a little walk. Typically, it's really hard for people to admit they're wrong. That's normally a very proud response. Humility, as far as I can tell, is a gift from the Almighty, a gift from God, where He helps us to trade in the lies that we believed and the truth that helped us to realize that we had been deceived. So in the kaleidoscope of conspiracy theories, it can't all be correct. In fact, they're all wrong, except for the one that is actually true. So in the official story of the crucifixion of Christ, Jesus, when he was on trial, Pontius Pilate said, "What is truth?" And the embodiment of truth was right in front of him, and he could not recognize that. It's still happening today. The truth will be right in front of people, and they can't get it on their own. Neither could I. I didn't get this because I'm smarter than the other kids or the adults. I'm 65 now. How about that? I've heard it said that if I knew I was going to live so long, I would take better care of myself. I'm doing the best I can right now to avoid the toxins and get healthy nutrition, live a healthy lifestyle, all based on truth. There will be vitamins and supplements and devices and all of that that are told they're going to deliver something that maybe they don't. We've been told that some of the medical treatments were safe and effective. From whose perspective? Some of these treatments have been very effective and fatal to those that took them. You can take a look at what those treatments are. I'm not speaking of only one. There's been a lot of different treatments that have been more of a science experiment. just had more lightning right there. That's the active area. So this area is very reflective, and people reflect on their lives, past, present, future, hopes, dreams, fears, regrets. I believe a regret largely has its foundation that came from either deception, people didn't know what to do, didn't know what would be best to do or not do. And then there's the matter of power. Did they have enough power to do what they believe they should do? An example would be those that are addicted to a substance or behavior that they just can't stop. And they know they should. I've been there, done that. That's why I'm here doing this, because I want that for other people. I want people to know that there is there's hope, and there is faith, hope, love, all of that. I'm going to take my lanyard, my badge off temporarily. I want to try that for a bit because the wind is catching it, blowing it all around. I should have a pretty good transmission between my, this is a DJI Mini. By the way, any of the mentions of products are not endorsements or compensated. I should say they're not compensated endorsements. So between here and the other device, these are the microphones, and then there's a receiving device, and they're connected to my iPhone 17 Pro Max. I wanted to get the best device for the job. One, I've got other Apple products. They've been very good for me. We can't see my voice going through the air, although if somebody was standing behind the camera, or maybe my friend Scott can hear me over here. However, there's a capture by these microphones, and then it's projecting or transferring my voice that goes through the microphone to the device, and it's being digitally recorded along with this imagery. And that all might be Captain Obvious to you. It's just that sometimes when we hear something, it sounds different. Maybe you can see the ripples coming up out of the sand. There's pressurized water that's getting pushed up by hydrostatic pressure because of the tidal activity. And those little openings, those little tunnels that were bored, that the water is coming out of, were created by a little creature that's in there. I believe they're called sand fleas. I'd like to show you from a different vantage point when it's happening. They're all over, lots of them. Where the water is really thin is where we can see it more. That's what I'm wanting to show you, right there. So I could talk about it, or I could show you. Because of lighting that's easier to see now from this angle, I wanted to optimize that as a visual so you could see it, what it actually looks like. Part of what happened with me in all this, I've enjoyed the outdoors for a long time, whether it's going to the beach, snowmobiling, motorcycle, racing and practicing, working outside, relaxing, enjoying the outdoors, skiing, downhill skiing, jet skiing, boating. I've done so much of that. Being out in nature like this. So part of what happens is the sun gives us energy directly and energizes the atmosphere all around us. And then, as I've shown in this video, the lightning is a discharge of that static electricity. Right over there, about a decade ago, I was hit by lightning, right in that area there. Struck by Lightning is the name of the video. If you were on my channel and went to the looking glass and searched my channel and type in Struck by Lightning, you can see it. The 5 Vietnamese surf fishermen that I was recording were affected by it too. There's little fish in here swimming. Anyway, I was holding my Tommy Bahama lightning rod umbrella and a storm came up, and I believe the Almighty wanted me to keep recording, so I did. And I knew that I could get electrocuted holding the aluminum lightning rod with the umbrella attached, but I believe that he controlled the storm and what it would do. So the old me, before I was born again, would have thought, oh, God is testing me to see what I'll do. The me that's actually born again knows that he knew exactly what I would do. He knows what I'll do next. He wanted me to see that I truly wasn't afraid to live, die, or tell the truth. That makes a big difference. He wanted me to realize that. So, the truth sounds crazy to the deceived or the ignorant. Ignorant sounds kind of offensive. What it actually means is they don't know. And that was part of the motivation behind taking the created content and putting it together in a library for your consideration, so you can take a look at what I've found, and then you can see what you think about it or believe about it. Is it true or not true? It can't be both true and false. It's in that context, it's an either or. I'll give you an example. If it's causal, it's definitely coinciding or a coincidence. However, just because it's a coincidence doesn't mean that it's causal. And you can put in the variables of whatever that is. It's more of a critical thinking construct. Common sense doesn't grow in every garden. And with as sophisticated of a deception as we have going on all around us, it requires more than our own human perception. I believe it requires divine intervention to understand this, to believe it, to recognize it. One of my commenters said on one of my previous videos that they really liked the upside down part of the video. Let me zoom in on that to show you. Is Scott really sitting upside down? How about the people out there? Are they really upside down? So I have what I referred to as VEMS, VEMES, on my channel. And I recorded heavy equipment and front end loaders and bulldozers and ships out on the ocean with water being pumped out of them and going the opposite direction that it would in reality. So reality exposes the global lie. The truth exposes the global lie. Reality exposes the truth about everything. More jelly. Oh, more jellyfish. That one might be a stinger. I think it was. Yep. Now that looks like a pair of sunglasses over there. That's pretty common. Let's see if that's what that actually is. That's what I thought a while ago. I found a lot of them out here. The tide is going out. And there they are. I don't wear sunglasses anymore. I don't wear glasses anymore. I don't need them. In fact, my understanding is sunglasses impair function, and I've got documentaries that cover that in the research library. The body adjusts the hormone level based on light input. Truly amazing how that works out. See, these don't even look that scratched up. And this texture that I'm walking on is really good for a foot massage. I've been massaging my feet for a long time, and the whole rest of my body. It moves the fluid, the lymphatic system, the circulatory system. This is unique every time. We've got a diurnal tidal activity here, high and low, twice a day. In the winter, it's around 4 feet, and in the summer, at they call them a king tide, it'll be like 6.5 feet. Big difference. So we get energy directly and indirectly from the sun. And I'll use coconut oil and castor oil and hyaluronic acid, organic oils. I do want to get healthy benefits from the sun, and I want to avoid the toxic chemicals from sunscreens. So we each have our like a petri dish of our experience. I've got a perpetual detoxification protocol where I bathe in electrolyte enhanced reverse osmosis carbon filtered water. The water I drink is like that, and it's also been put in the sun to have the sun enhance the structure of the water. In my bath water, I'll have 7 tablespoons of, or I should say 1 tablespoon of each of the following substances: boron, baking soda, magnesium, sea salt, apple cider vinegar. And then I use a water purification 2-part liquid known as chlorine dioxide, as directed, for water purification. You can research that particular water treatment method and see the benefits that it may have for people. Then the other thing is I have a ground wire connecting the tub to the ground. It's I've got it plugged into my electrical outlet, just 1 wire in the ground circuit, and then I'm much grounded like this. But here's the thing, when I lean back and I have that hot electrolyte enhanced water going into my sinuses, that's real close to the brain. They're very concerned, the control system is very concerned about what goes into our breathing. So they like to spray us like bugs, and then that gets on all the foliage, the trees and the grasses and all that. And then when it gets caught on fire, it's recirculated in the atmosphere. If they would use all of that evil and poisoning and toxification to try and make this world a better place, that'd be just great. Instead, well-meaning yet deceived individuals participate in our enslavement. So you can see many of the truth tellers in the library I've compiled and deployed through the Truth Network. I hope I hope you're one of the truth tellers. I would like to see that. I want more of them, more of us. I'm really grateful that the Almighty looks to radically change lives of people that just weren't getting it. He doesn't necessarily look for the best and the brightest. He can cause us to be whatever he wants us to be, however he wants us to function in this world. So my understanding is he doesn't just see who we are, he sees who we will become with the power and direction and protection of his Holy Spirit. And I know there's people that don't want to hear it. And well, that's unfortunate, because he's the only reason why I'm doing this. There would be no other reason to do this from my vantage point. There's a certain element of danger with all of this, because the way the system treats the truth tellers. You can look into that if you want. If you like highly zoomed in videography and photography, I've got that in my library too. You can check it out. I've done a lot of it out here. I have one photo thumbnail of an eagle in a tree right there, and I zoomed in on them, and they flew on out to the ocean right out here and picked up a fish and took it away for breakfast. So North Carolina is in the middle of the view, a couple miles away from here. So this is coastal, the north end of coastal South Carolina. Now watch, I'll just focus on them and then just move a little bit. See how that all changes, the view of that? But it's a liquid mirror. The symmetry is easy to see. Oh my gosh, I'm over an hour and 5 minutes on this. How about that? Good morning. I did. It was very pretty.
It was. I stayed at home and watched it.
Now, did you see it fly over?
Yeah, well, I'm in the little river, so I could look out the window.
Ah, nice. Now, have I ever given you one of my cards?
No, you haven't.
I've got one. You can see what I shot of it, and I've got a lot more there too. I'm
Yeah,
on different platforms,
yeah.
and there you go.
Ooh, thank
If you
you.
were to Google my name or phone number, you'll find it. Would you like these for somebody?
No, but if you want to, I just pick up trash and throw them away.
Well, there you go. Yeah, they're better in the trash. Our brain and body does better when we get the natural light.
Yeah, I have light colored eyes, so I have to wear glasses after it gets too bright. But yeah,
All righty.
that's usually half the time when people see this full, they'll go, "Oh, you got a lot of stuff." Yeah, trash.
Yeah, there you go. I'm Robert, and you are?
I'm Lynn.
Lynn, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So I'm going to zoom in on that sun, and you're in the video right now. Thank you, Lynn.
Oh, okay. Have a good day.
Hey, you too. And that's Lynn. She picked up the sunglasses for me, as you heard. So let's zoom in on this, see what we've got. So one of the other respiratory or health benefits out here is the negative electrons that are stirred up by the wave activity. I breathe them in, and there's healthy elements in the water as well that get into the lungs. And I'm not all freaked out about their weather and people modification technology. I'll just work with everything that I have. I try to reduce my personal toxification, and then I've got a perpetual detox protocols. Avoid toxins, get healthy nutrients in me, on me. On the skin is in the body as well. When it's in the form of a healthy oil, healthy water, in a fluid exchange, that may sound kind of weird, in a healthy, long therapeutic soak like I do, with deep tissue massage and all that I'm doing, I may lose up to 7-8 pounds. That's almost a gallon of water. By the way, do you know how much a gallon of water weighs? Well, that depends. It's about 8 pounds depending on temperature, because temperature changes the volume and density of the water. It's part of the hydrologic cycle. Evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. Rain, snow, sleet, fog, hail. And then we've got respiration, what comes out of us. It's good to have a lot of fresh air. So inside air quality is really important. Having plants and having healthy indoor air. There's lots of ways to do that. How pretty. So I've got multiple air purifiers in my house. An ozone generator that I use periodically. It's very healthy. It makes the air really fresh. I've got a couple of cats, kitties, naked kitties, Sphinx kitties. You can see Dean. Dean moved on. Rest in peace, my little precious Dean Martin. He died on Mother's Day. But you can see the kitties, and I use a pine pellet from Tractor Supply Company. It's a healthy option for litter maintenance. So about a dozen years ago, I called Tractor Supply Company. I said, you know those equine pellets, you've got the picture of the horse on there? I use it for cats. You might want to expand the what you advertise on there. They changed their whole packaging to have small animals on there now. Was I the reason for that? Perhaps. Been doing it that way for years. Works great. Now, see the fog in the middle of the view? There you go. That's part of the hydrologic cycle. So the healthy water that evaporates in my house and is grounded, that's really good. Good for me. Good morning. Alrighty. So I want to thank you for your public and private encouragement. This is Robert Foertsch with the Truth Network. Feel free to reach out anytime you like. All right. Thank you so much.